Well, good afternoon. It is not Tuesday Motivation and Conversation, but I wanted to stop in, taking a break. There's a lot of things are going on. However, I wanted to stop in and just share a few things with you, and hopefully it will be beneficial to you. Of course, we will resume on next Tuesday with Tuesday Motivation and Conversation. And who knows, I may have a guest on with me on next Tuesday. But I wanted to, yet and still, though, it's motivation and conversation, so that part has not changed. But I wanted to chat a little bit about, let me just get over here because I never thought someone may decide that they're going to join me. So uh, let me just get over here so that I can address you in the event that that does occur. And so um, I wanted to talk about, of course, the title on this episode is um, intake information management. Intake information management. Um, I was just with my local chamber earlier today, and I was talking about, of course, what is my wheelhouse, and that is structure, strategies, and systems. And one of the things that was determined during that session, as there was a lot of good engagement, and that is um, we have to manage the information that we have to manage the information that we get. And oftentimes that doesn't occur because our routines and our days get so busy. And so we're constantly taking in information, but we're not always managing the information we're taking in. And so it's important that we learn how to establish some type of process that will help us to manage the information that we're taking in. So, number one is scheduling some time to really review the information that you're taking in, right? Um, because oftentimes that can go, and the reason why this is important, because we intake information from so many different channels. So in this day and time, uh, we're taking in information from, Sunday services, Wednesday night Bible studies, various groups that we are a part of. If you have a coach or a mentor, you're taking information in from there. If you are a service provider, I would hope that you're reading and you're intaking information to help you be better at whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're a knowledge-based preneur or you're a service-based preneur, meaning you have a supply chain, some products, inventory, things along that line, or you are taking in information from, of course, social media and the internet, right? If you're attending conferences or workshops, or like I do, business meetings on a regular basis, you're taking information in from those channels as well. And so it's important that you have a process for how you're managing the information that you're intaking on a regular basis. And so when we do that, we find ourselves better equipping ourselves for the things that we're doing as service providers. It helps us to adequately place the information that we're taking in where it's best needed and what the priority is for the intake of that information, right? So, for instance, of course, today I was talking about my wheelhouse structure, strategies, and systems. And so, just talking about how, number one, the information of what you do needs to get out of your head on paper and into some type of process. It needs to get into some type of standard operating procedure, which is called an SOP. Um, and I always share this simplistic piece of information because I think it's important. And it doesn't matter whether you have 100 employees, 100,000 employees, 1,000 employees, or whatever it is, but especially if you are a solopreneur, entrepreneur, and in which the case was today, most of the entrepreneurs and business owners were small business owners, meaning they either had less than five or they were solopreneurs. Oftentimes as solopreneurs, which a lot of us are in this season because a lot of us are transitioning out of corporate, or we've decided that we just want to do and have our own business. So as a result of that, we have determined that we're going to structure our services or skill sets or whatever it is that we do, and we're going to begin to service clients. That's all well and good. At the end of the day, though, you need to document what those processes are. You need to make sure that you have a framework for the information that you're going to be sharing and how you're going to be sharing it. What is your system for sharing it? What's your process for sharing it? What strategies do you have for maintaining efficiency and productivity? And how do you stay on a competitive edge with the information that you are presenting and the business model that you are serving up? So it's important that we take some time to really manage the information that we're taking in on a consistent basis. One of the things that my coach has talked about in past times, and I continue to utilize this piece of information and share it, and that is there are growing seasons and there are grounding seasons. And in the growing season is when we're taking in the information, right? We're learning new skills, we're learning new information, we're learning new processes, we're learning new opportunities, we're learning how new things work, we're learning new technology. So there are a lot of different things that we are taking in the growing season. So we're aspiring to fill our wells with more information that is on the cutting edge that will help us do whatever it is that we're doing better and be the best version of ourselves. Then there is the grounding season, which is when we take a break from growing, reading and intaking information because we get to the place of just taking in, and we never take the opportunity to process the information that we're taking in or manage the information that we're taking in. And so there's a difference in managing the information and processing the information, right? So managing the information, that means you're adequately filing it, categorizing it, entitling it, whatever system you use. I use OneNote a lot because it's accessible to me, whether I'm in a meeting or whatever the case may be. I don't have to try to find my phone and figure out where I need to go to find the information I need to find. I can use a keyword of what I'm looking for and go to my knowledge base filing, and I can find the information that I'm looking for, or the information based filing and find the information that I'm looking for. And so I've learned to put books that I've read, notes, and things of that nature, as my coach has taught us, to make sure that we have an IMS, an information management system. And it's so important. Now, I had a different, style of maintaining and tracking and keeping up with things with folders and things of that nature. And they're still folders, but they're in a different sequence and a different flow. So it helps me to be able to put my hands on the information a little bit more easily and a little bit more often, as opposed to taking several minutes to dig through and find and click and click and click down 4 levels to find information. But to have it readily available is important. And so managing information is different from processing information. So we're managing it, that means we're categorizing it, we're making sure that it's in a sequential order where we can find it, or it has topics that are easy for us to identify. In the event we forget what all of the things are about, we can at least put in keywords or phrases about that particular area of information, and it will bring it up for you. Now, when we talk about processing information, that means we're taking the time to absorb the information and determine how the information applies to us and for us, and how it is that we need to place it in whatever it is that we're doing. So, one piece is managing the information that you're intaking. The other part is processing the information that you're taking in. And I think a lot of times, without even realizing it, we get so inundated with information that a lot of times we have information that would do us a lot of good and probably shift some things in the trajectory of where we're trying to go. However, because we've taken in so information, we don't know what we have and we don't know what we don't have. So sometimes we may, even buy books that we already have because we have not processed the information that we already have. And I'm speaking from experience because I've done that kind of thing. And so I think it's important. And one of the things that my coach always says, and that is that we read to feed, not necessarily to finish. And so and I know it's in some cases, you need to read a particular book or uh, whatever you've purchased from cover to cover, but oftentimes we're reading to feed because in this day and time, you just may not have time to read a 300-page book, but you do have the time to read a particular chapter that appeals and is applicable to you and what it is that you're doing. Make adequate notes on it and determine how that information flows to you. Now, based on the narrative, there may be a chapter before and a chapter after, just like in the Word when you're studying the Bible, that you need for context, right? So contextually, you need to read those pieces so that you have good clarity about what is being shared. However, I just wanted to drop in today and just, offer the question, ask the question, what is it that you're doing with the intake of the information and how are you managing it? And when are you taking time and taking a break from growing and taking in information so that you can adequately um, process the information that you're getting in, right? Because at the end of the day, being able to do that, that helps you to grow. Because it's just like we can eat, but if we don't digest the food properly, it makes us sick. Right. And so you can enjoy it when you're taking it in, which a lot of us do. We're excited, we're jubilant, we're over the moon about the information that we're taking in. But then if we don't take that information and apply it appropriately later down the road, it could be detrimental to us because we did not take the information and apply it appropriately. So it could have benefited us had it we've used it timely or processed it and absorbed it appropriately. So we would have had the knowledge of that information so when we got ready to make a decision later down the road, we could utilize that information in helping us to make the best decision that was in our best interest. However, if we don't do that, then we can also take the opportunity to not make the best decision or the wisest decision because we did take the time to process that information. So managing the information and processing the information are two totally different things. So I would definitely suggest that as you are going about your week and we're toward the end of the week now, think about, some of the information that you've taken in just this week. It could have been in a conversation. It could have been in an email. It could have been in a online meeting. It could have been in a workshop of some sort. It could have been a networking event. There are all kinds of places and opportunities to intake information, and we're doing it every day. You can watch television and there's information to intake. So just know that, and for me, I'm constantly um utilizing pen and paper to make sure that I'm capturing things that I feel are important to me or that appeal to the area for which I work in. And so that's important, for whatever you're doing, that your antennas are always up relative to what your vision is and what it is that you want to see come to manifestation. All right. So those are just a few of the things that I thought were pertinent while I was processing some information today. And I thought I would share that with you. In addition to that, that brings me to pen to paper. Here again is why we do the conference on an annual basis to give people skills and tools and resources and mechanics to utilize to help them process information from a perspective that's going to help them to retain it. Because there are opportunities that we take in information, but if we screenshot it with our phone or if we take a picture of it or something along those lines, most times we don't go back to process that information. But there's a different process that happens with you retaining the information, committing to the information, and really seeing that particular thing through when you write it down. And so I want to encourage you, if you've never had a pen to paper experience, and this is about purpose and calling and vision and aligning yourself with the thing that it is that you say you want to do and getting the information that will help you to go forward and to catapult you forward. You want to make sure that you're in Dallas, Texas, November 1st and 2nd for the Pen to Paper conference. And early bird registration is currently available and it's on the website on the events tab. So you can go to the events page and you can find out information there as well as you can reserve your hotel accommodations if you're planning to join us from outside of the DFW area. Now, we also have the pen to paper tour that is currently going across the country, and so we're in various areas over the next several months. And so we are up next June 1st in Fremont, California, Fremont, San Jose area, which is in the San Francisco Bay Area. So if you're anywhere in that area or you know someone in that area, tell them about the Pen to Paper Workshop. It's happening June 1st. Registration is still open. It will increase in a couple of days, but you can still grab a seat and be a part of the Pen to Paper Workshop. And there's going to be some amazing information, especially for entrepreneurs and business owners, small business owners, information that will help you save money, save time, and help you get where you're trying to go a little bit quicker. And so that's the whole goal, and to open you up to opportunities for consistent income. That is, I'm telling you, that's price of admission by itself. All right. So you can go to the tour page on the website, bridgetmoody.com, and get information and register for the tour, any workshop that's near you. And so there are other cities such as San Bernardino, California, Las Vegas, Nevada, Chicago, Illinois, Portland, Oregon, Houston, Texas, and Baltimore, Maryland, DC area. So these are some of the stops that we're going to be making as we move across the country. And we hope to see you in one of those cities. But this is Bridget. I'm out, and I'll see you the next time on next Tuesday for Tuesday Motivation and Conversation.